They are down on the scoreboard as we begin the second half and looking to avoid a bigger deficit.
And I could just hear the coaches now. I can hear the head coach. Guys, first 5 minutes, first series of the second half, offense or defense, you've got to set the tone.
They'll try to set that tone here. And third quarter here, you've got the lead. This is where that strong run game can really benefit you. Stayed in bounds there, kept the clock going.
I like all the points you just made there. And if you throw the football and it's incomplete, now you stop the clock and you've helped out the guys on the other side of the ball. So keep it in the hands of those runners. Keep moving it. Keep grinding clock.
Murray, the lone setback. On second down, here's Carr. Over the middle, Amari Cooper. It's complete. No gain on that one, and it's going to bring up a third down.
Brandon, just mark that under the category of just not successful. Trying to throw the ball, just didn't work on that one.
Completed it. No yardage. And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. Carr going to try and throw on third down. Cooper's got it. A gain of 13 and also a first down.
It's funny when I go back to our pregame meeting with Amari Cooper and we mentioned, what they play man coverage against you. He almost seemed offended by it, didn't he?
I'll beat it. That's basically what it said, right?
I mean, the best receivers we've ever talked to and covered, when you talk about covering them with one guy, they think that's a personal affront. If they feel like if they can't just beat one defender, then they're not very good.
Give them 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
We always like to talk about defense in terms of levels. First level defensive line, second level linebackers, third level defensive backs. On that run, that was what we call a first level run, and it was stopped by a second level player.
Now Carr on the bootleg, rolling to his left. It's a 4-yard pickup, and they're going to have a third down.
How about a tip of the cap to the defense? They're working against a very mobile quarterback, but all day long they've kept him under wraps. And on that play, they held him to a short gain.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here. Cooper will come in motion right. Time running out here on the play clock. Snap comes at 1, and it's Carr. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
It looked like they had something there, but I think that he was thinking about running with the football before he actually hauled it in, and that led to a big drop.
They missed a field goal earlier, so possibly as a result, that's why they're going to try to go for it here on fourth down. Cooper, the man in motion right. Play clock winding down. Carr going to go on fourth down. And this is incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And this Texans defense stands tall. And he'll have a tough time living that one down. It's one thing, Charles, to drop a pass. It's quite another to drop it on fourth down.
And so many teams work on that in terms of locking in on those key downs. You know, you and I have both been to practices where we've seen, hey, third down situation, big third down alert, lock in here. Fourth down play, make sure you're focused just a little bit extra. It didn't pay off in that situation.
And it's hauled in by Ben Watson. It's a gain of 14 there, and it'll give the Texans a first down.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
They come out here in the eye. They'll run it with a fullback crunch. Try to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
To me, that's a superior play by the backer because he was allowed to, I think, run free on it and make that play. His defensive linemen, they covered things down for him because offensive guys, the linemen, what they're trying to do is, is block the guy at the point of attack and then climb to the next level and get the linebacker. When you're not allowed to climb, you got a free hitter, and that's what we saw there. And a really nice play resulted for them.
From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. And they'll stop him right on the midfield stripe. Give him 3 yards on the run there. That still leaves him with a difficult 3rd and 8 coming up. So 2nd down was a run play. Now let's see what they do on 3rd. They isolate Hopkins on the left side. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. He's got the completion to Strong. And he's brought down after a good gain. That goes for a gain of 31.
Now that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
Back now in Mexico City. This one's still anybody's ball game. It's a 1-point difference here as we begin the 4th quarter of play. Here's Whedon. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
After all the preparation, all the practice, a play like that will absolutely break your heart. They had everything they wanted, just unable to complete it. In the end zone, a big-time drop.
From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. A nice job to get 8 there after the incompletion, and now they'll look at a 3rd and 2 coming up.
I love the modern game, but that was a throwback right there to see the big man with football, running, knocking people aside, and picking up yardage. That takes me back to the 60s, the 70s, when fullbacks ruled the earth.
And here comes play number 6 on this drive. Now Whedon. And this throw will be intercepted. Picked off by the former first-round pick, DJ Hayden. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, I don't think we'll have to look very hard to find our play of the game. That was an absolutely monstrous big play right there. Backs to the wall. The offense has it in the red zone, driving for the winning score. And he says, not on my watch. And that is one happy bunch on the sidelines.
Now after the INT, it's Carr. And his throw's going to be incomplete. Amari Cooper, his intended receiver, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
There's so much precision in an offense, especially when you're throwing the ball. And in an out route, plenty of it. How about the quarterback hitting his back foot, ball's out of his hands, receiver making his break, making his cut. He's got to time up perfectly. Not always easy to do.
Just let him a little too much.
Yeah, I remember back in the good old days, I was talking to a quarterback, and he said everything they did was on the count system. So when he took a snap, he counted in his head for certain routes, different time frames for each one, and he knew if the ball wasn't out of his hand at that point, he'd better eat it because the play was dead.
And in this situation with the lead 4th quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take. Puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
And this is going to be incomplete. Michael Crabtree, the intended receiver, and that's going to make it 4th down.
When you see passes knocked down by those guys I call the frustrated fullbacks, the linebackers, you know that in their zone coverage, they were able to drop, see the ball thrown, and react to it very quickly.
And he'll try and hurry the kick, gets it away, but it's not looking that great. Special teams mistake there, no doubt. Just 26 yards officially on the punt. And the Texans with great field position to start this drive as they take over 1st and 10. And here comes the Texans now. Looked like they had something going last drive. Then the interception happened. Will they recover?
The memory they need to keep with them is that they did have something going. They were moving the ball on offense, had a nice sequence going. Don't worry about the other part. You can't get that back. Let's go back to what you were doing well before.
I thought you were going to say they need to have no memory, but remember the good part, forget the bad.
I like that even better.
It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
And he's the epitome of what we call the move tight end, a guy that you can line up anywhere, in the slot, out wide, in tight. Doesn't really matter because he has such great skills. You want to utilize him in all aspects of your passing offense.
And there he was in the slot for the catch. Finds his man, Watson, over the middle. That one good for 17 yards, and now they've got it 1st and goal.
I know exactly what's going to be said about that play from the defensive perspective.
What's that?
That's why I tell all you guys we need more than one tackler to the ball. He broke the first tackle. Luckily enough, there were more people there to get him down.
So the chains are on their sides. It's 1st and goal from the 6. And he'll get this one back to the 5-yard line, but no further than that. They'll say no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd and goal. So this offense really needs to make something happen here late in the 4th with the football. Time for a break. We're back to see what happens after this. So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. They come up on a 2nd down now in a game that looks like it's going to go down the wire. He'll look to throw, and he just chucked that one out of bounds, out of everyone's reach. Maybe a wise call not to take a sack in this part of the field. It brings up 3rd down.
Sometimes the coverage is so good, no matter what you're doing on offense, you just can't shake anyone free. They try their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
They come out here in the eye. They'll look to throw. And he'll just toss it away. So he throws it away, and that brings up 4th down.
Well, that plays a statistic that's going to go on the defensive team stat sheet. Won't necessarily reflect in ours, right, the overall game sheet. But you and I know that they keep count on pressures, hits on quarterbacks, all those things, hoping to increase that throughout the game. And here we are in the 4th quarter, and they got a big one.
Yeah, it's such a close game, a very big one. Now then, it's a big kick right there to give them the lead in the 4th. But, Charles, there is still time left for a final drive.
Brandon, you know they would have liked to take the clock down just a little bit further, at least under a minute or so, but this was not over yet, especially since they just need a field goal.
Fielded about a yard deep. And he will be brought down here at about the 17-yard line. The Texans defense heading back out now, ready to get their cracks again. And everything's going to rest on this drive. Can they keep them out of field goal range, because a field goal would win it?
So now you're in that position of you can't just back off and give them easy throws. At the same time, you don't want to press them so hard they go over the top and beat you deep. So you're playing a tight defense with an idea that you have the lead, whatever you do. Don't let them in the field goal range.
Too tight.
Tighten up your shoes. Get it exactly.
See if they lay some right. Over the middle. And down he'll go at the play, and it'll bring up a 2nd down.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on 1st down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a 2nd and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. He'll look to throw. Wide open, Amari Cooper. The 30. 10. 5. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. Amari Cooper with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Raiders have moved out in front here in the 4th quarter.
and touchdown and congratulations and zero relaxation ahead of them, right? Way too much time on the clock for them to start celebrating.
Yeah, part one is done, but now on the sideline, you can already see them scrambling down there. They're getting those defensive guys ready.
Yes, you have to get those guys ready, and you also have to talk to your special teams guys. Make sure the kickoff is exactly what you want and cover it well.
On is the Raider kickoff unit now as they will send this one away. It's a short kick taken near the 18. And they'll be set up pretty nicely here as they have it up to the 35-yard line. And marching back out there now, the Raiders defense gets ready. And they'll see if they can get one final stop with this crowd behind them.
And let's face it, as much as we want to say it's all about the guys on the field, they can get some help right here from the home crowd. And they're going to try their best to get them motivated, get them involved. But they're going to need to make a play or two in order to keep them in that spot.
The crowd's making some noise now. They were trying to get the connection with a former Buckeye, Braxton Miller. And that'll make it 2nd and 10. Second down now after the incompletion. He's back to throw. On the right side, this is Miller. And he'll be out of bounds up past the 45. They got exactly what they wanted there. Out route, catch, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
And I have to criticize defense here because you know the situation. You want to keep them inbounds and have the clock run. So I'm sitting on the outside portion of the field and not letting them throw an out route. Throw anything inside and I'll make the tackle. An out route? That's not the way you're supposed to play it.
Now a desperation throw. It's caught inside the 25. And he'll be down deep into Oakland territory. Looking to speed things up here, going with some tempo. Back to throw. Completion left side to Miller. And he's brought down. It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives him a 1st and goal. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. They isolate Hopkins on the left side. Back to throw. And he just throws this one away. Smart decision here this close to the end zone, and it brings up 2nd down.
Well, any caused incompletion is good for a defense. But when you add to it, you get a little hit on the quarterback, knock him to the ground, make him think a little bit, hopefully knock him off his game, especially in a game of this magnitude, this tight in the 4th quarter. Got to feel pretty good as a defense.
Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against?
Neutral zone infraction, defense.
So that's the word from the referee. Neutral zone infraction, 5 yards.
And, of course, the defense is always pointing at the offense about how they drew them across. Flag goes against the defenders on that one. Here's Whedon. He's got time in the pocket. And this is caught.
touchdown. And they've taken the lead here in the final minute. So with next to nothing left on the clock, they get Charles what should be the game-winning touchdown catch.
That felt so much like practice and preparation coming together. So many times your last practice of the week, you score the game-winning touchdown. Everyone leaves the field feeling good about themselves. They got it done for real in this situation.
So they make the decision. They want a 3-point lead versus a 2-point lead, and they got it.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, it seems like the exact right thing to do. Put a little pressure on your defense, but the biggest thing now is you're making the other team chase you.
And he'll take this across the 25. Couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And now the Texans defense, they get ready here. They've got a situation where a field goal ties it. How do you defend this? Because you obviously don't want to give up the touchdown. How aggressive do you get?
That's always the key, isn't it? Where is the line on aggressiveness to over-aggressiveness? And I think most coordinators are looking at it like run your regular defense, add some pressure packages, because really the 35-yard line is the one you really want to defend. At that point, you're thinking you're probably giving up 3. Anything outside of that, you feel like you've got a chance to hold them.
So they'll be in search of the proper amount of pressure. Murray, the lone setback. Now Carr. Trying for Cooper again. This time he finds him. A good pickup there of 20 yards. That's what they need right now. Get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Just playing smart football, understanding the situation, making the plays necessary, and making sure that clock stops at every opportunity.
All right, here we go.
One final try now for Carr. He's going to let it fly. And it's incomplete. So their final drive comes up empty.